What's up, guys? Paramoto back at you with another video. Today I want to talk to you about picking your first bike. Let's get to it. So I've talked to you guys about the question I was getting asked quite a bit was, can the Panigale 959 be your first bike? And I answered that with a video. And what I feel like I need to do now is, instead of saying, no, I don't recommend it, and then leaving you guys out to dry, I want to add what a good first bike could be for you. So there's probably more factors than you can really count about how to pick your first bike. The most important is going to be your experience level and your maturity. So your experience level is like, have you been riding dirt bikes your whole life and you decided you want to start doing street bikes? You know, have you ridden, you know, a bike when you were a little kid? Have you never ridden a fucking bicycle? Some people don't even think about that. Some people don't even have the balance on two wheels, you know? So that's a lot of things to think about. So generally, if you're a total noob beginner, I want to say that I recommend taking the MSF course first. Take the MSF course, have them teach you how to ride. If you're going to drop a bike, you're going to drop a bike there, and it won't be a big deal. It's somebody else's bike. They know it's going to happen. They don't care. You know, that's where you want to make your mistakes, is with instructors. So take the MSF course, and I'll be honest with you, when I took my MSF course, it made me safer immediately. Like on the road and stuff, it taught me things that I can immediately use to make me safe on the road. And I have so much respect for all the instructors that teach MSF. If you don't know what MSF is, that's the Motorcycle Safety Foundation course. You can Google it and find them. They're basically everywhere. When I took it, it was held at a community college, and it was like really cheap. Like I think it was like 50 bucks for a 3-day event. When my girlfriend took it, it was actually at a Harley dealership. I think most Harley dealerships do their version of a safety foundation course, but it was quite a bit more expensive. I think it was like $300. So I mean, but it's $300 for, like, you know, one-on-one instruction if you need it. You know, it's a really good investment. This guy is like so far up my asshole. I don't get why do you need to be up my ass? Thank you so much for turning. Alright guys, so let's get back to it now that I'm moving again. So just because I recommend a bike to you guys as a first bike does not necessarily mean it's a beginner bike. When you get your first bike, I think something that you should consider is the longevity of that bike to you. So like, if you're gonna buy a really small bike, you're gonna outgrow it faster than if you buy a slightly bigger bike. So you wanna kind of talk about the longevity of its use for you. So if you're a total noob, you're taking the MSF course, it's the first time you sat on a motorcycle, you know, I would highly recommend you get yourself something in the realm of the 250 to 400 cc class of motorcycle. What you get is entirely up to you, you know, like, just felt something on my foot. So what you get from there is entirely up to you. You don't generally find the Ninja 250s too often anymore, but when you do, they're very cheap. The Ninja 300, I have so much respect. It's what I started on, and the Ninja 300 is a fantastic starter bike. It's got 30 some odd horsepower. It weighs like 400 pounds. It's got plenty of get up and go. To be, I mean, even now, if I were to have one, you know, it would be a perfect daily commuter. It really would. It would never break down on you. It's dirt cheap. It never needs really to be filled up. Like, I mean, I filled that thing up like once a week, and I would ride it every night. You know, it was a great little bike, and I have so much respect for them. If you're a total noob, I would recommend that general class of bikes. Now, I'm comfortable with like telling you about Kawasaki's, but basically every manufacturer has their own beginner bike now. KTM's got a 392, Kawasaki makes them 400, CBR, Honda CBR, they have CBR 300, Now, and they're all good beginner bikes. I mean, there's nothing bad about any of them. Yamaha's got the R3, I heard is pretty awesome. I think the Yamaha R3 and the Ninja 400 are probably the front runners for the best beginner bikes, as far as I've heard from people. I haven't had an opportunity to ride the Ninja 400 yet, but I heard it's pretty fantastic. If it's anything like the 300, it's probably stellar. And like Kawasaki had, you know, the rights for the fucking beginner market for so long with the 250 and 300. But that's what I would suggest to you guys, all right? So if you're a total noob, get something between 250 cc's and 400 cc's. And if you can, try to get something used, because if you drop it, it leans over in a parking lot. It's not going to be that big of a deal. You know, it's not going to hurt as much, you know, hurt your self-esteem as much or your wallet as much. So I would highly recommend you go that route. Now, if you have experience on a bike, if you've ridden dirt bikes, if you're just one of those people that kind of take things up fast and you've ridden a couple times before, if you've ridden dirt bikes your entire life, I would recommend that you get something along the lines of a 650. So 650s are generally in engine configurations that make, you know, that don't crank out the high horsepower or the super high torque, but they're generally just easy riders. You know, like these things, like the 650s would be amazing touring bikes. They'd be amazing daily commuters. They're just rock solid platforms that just deserve respect. They really do. Like the Ninja 650, FZ07, FZ09, you know, the FZ09 is getting a little bit big, but it's not a fucking, you know, V-twin Panigale. It's not, you know, an inline 4 sport bike. It's not any of those things that crank out the fucking horsepower and will get you in trouble super quick. These bikes will get you in trouble faster than you can say, oh fuck, you know. And that being said, I've mentioned it a couple times. I used to work with a gentleman that actually had an oh fuck moment with his R6. He hadn't ridden it in a long time. He probably shouldn't have been riding it, and he went headlong into a telephone pole, and he got a traumatic brain injury, and it's pretty rough. He's still recovering years later. So, you know, for God's sakes, wear your gear as well. But I would recommend the 650 class. So, like I was saying, Ninja 650, Yamaha, FZ07, FZ09, it's pushing it, but you can still do it. You know, and then CBRs. So Honda's got, you know, their Street Fighter class of bikes. I think it's the CB class of bikes. So you can pick any one of them. I'm not 100% super familiar with those classes of bikes, but those are also pretty good bikes as well. Any Honda is going to fit your needs, depending on what your needs are. There's always a Honda for you, so you can pick one of those. These bikes are typically parallel twins, and what that makes less power generally. And these bikes they'll be over the 50 horsepower mark. They're not going to be 150 horsepower. They're not going to be super high revving. You know, they're going to be just good bikes for you. The name of the game of picking your first bike is to get your money's worth and also not dying, right? So when you pick these first bikes, you really want to pick a bike that gives you room to think. You know, like if you're cranking that fucking throttle open, it's gonna be like, are you sure you want to do this? And then fucking give it to you. But it's not like one of these bikes where it's just like it's always there. Like the power's not always here, you know, on the 650s and the 300s and stuff like that. Those bikes, you really have to make a deliberate effort to go fast. You know, it just happens. But yeah, so that's generally my opinions on picking your first bikes, guys. Let me know what your first bike is in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about the video. If you want me to mention something else, I would love to hear your guys' comments and concerns. Anyways, guys, please make sure to like and subscribe to the video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Deuces.